There's a fundamental piano technique that you can go years without learning. It doesn't just make playing more effortless, but it very naturally provides you with musical phrasing and shaping. It simply comes down to this: how many movements does it take to play this, or even this? So the answer is one movement per group of notes. So what is this movement and how do you actually see it in the music? We're going to start with some Clementi, where it's really easy to spot. Then we're going to look at what happens when it's less obvious and why tension can creep into our playing. And finally, Chopin, where we're going to look at how this becomes the foundation of shaping a melody. Anything that we can do on the piano to make playing easier and most importantly get to the music a little bit quicker is a must for me, and that's exactly what this technique can help us to do. So the easiest place to see this is when we have a slur over 2 or 3 notes. Instead of treating these as separate notes with separate movements, we treat them as one thing and one shape. Not separate movements for each note, but a single movement for a whole group. And I like to think of this as a down-up movement. For instance, in our 3-note groupings in the left hand, we make a movement down on the first note, down through the first note, and then rebound up through the other notes. So we're creating one movement. It's really the movement of the arm weight and the wrist going down into the key and then rebounding off more lightly on the other notes. So what does this do? Well, firstly, it stops the notes from getting stuck when you give an individual movement on each of them, and it gives this sense of movement and momentum. Simply, it simplifies the gesture and it simplifies your notes just down into one thing. And finally, it helps to shape the notes, because as you move down, you create a slightly louder sound and the ups create a slightly softer, lighter sound, which matches the shape of the slur. We always want to get a little bit quieter towards the end of the slur. Sometimes these down-up movements are going to be easy to spot, as the slur will tell you exactly how to play. But we can also apply the same idea even in places where it's much less obvious. Bar 1 of the Clementi isn't as simple as it first seems. Firstly, we can clearly see that there are 2 slurs on 2 pairs of notes. So just to recap, we want to make a movement down on the first note of the slur, and then an up movement and a lighter movement on the last note. One thing that you want to watch out for when you're making these down-up movements is to make sure that the last note of the slur is actually played carefully and softly, because it's quite easy when you're coming up through them, when you're rebounding off, to just flick the last one, which provides an accent, which makes it a little bit too loud. So you do actually have to try, you really have to try to make that last note come out softer. So these movements aren't limited to just when a slur is written. If we want to simplify our music further and we want to group our notes, we can extend this same idea. So for example, knowing that we want to create as fewer movements as possible, we can extend our upward movement of the down up to the last 2 notes of bar 1 as well. So for instance, we've got the first down up, which is our first slur. That's a down up, and then we've got a down up, but we extend our up for those last 2 notes as well. So really we've got like a down up throughout this whole bar. Really we want to create, if we can, one shape out of the whole bar. So instead of multiple separate movements for every note, we end up with just 2 movements or even 1 movement across the whole bar. This makes sure that the notes are grouped together, and this propels the music forwards with this sense of momentum, while also really simplifying it for you, for your movements, for when you come to play it. So like we mentioned, this idea doesn't just stop where slurs are written. In fact, some of the most important groupings that can help you the most, especially in avoiding tension and gaining speed, aren't actually written at all. Talking of things not being written down, I find that many of my students aren't using a practice routine. If you'd like to use a practice routine so that you can put more structure into your practice with these kinds of things, I've put one together and you can download it from the link in the description below. So let's take the right hand scale pattern in the second bar of Clementi. Now there's no obvious movement or shape written in here, but if we treat every note separately with its own movement, it's going to feel heavy and we're going to get stuck in the hand. So if we group all of the notes into one movement going through and up the scale, it not only simplifies the music, but it also gives it this sense of direction. So with this scale, we're aiming to create a down movement, and then we're going to lighten as we come up through the scale. So go down and through, and then we're going to lighten and lift as we go up. Let's put that together with the slur at the start of the bar as well. In fact, we can use this in all of the scales that we practice, giving the sense of direction toward the top note and then another direction back towards the bottom. We can take the left hand repeating pattern as another example. If you play every single note almost individually, it's going to become tense and stuck quite quickly. Instead, try to create a small gesture before you begin the movement and then go down and through the whole group. That group might be 4 notes, it could be 8 notes, or in this case, it could be the entire pattern until it changes. And in this case, I'd probably group the whole pattern together. So this movement gives the music a clear sense of direction, and most importantly, it stops it from becoming stuck and tense. The grouping isn't written, but the movement is still there. So far, we've used grouping to simplify and make things easier to play, but we can actually use the same idea to shape music itself. Let's take this beautiful C# minor nocturne melody as an example. We can use the same principle of going down and through on the first note, and then as we finish the slur, we're going to come off a little bit softer and a little bit lighter. But to shape this phrase, we really need to go one step deeper. Most musical lines follow the same kind of shape. They begin with direction, build towards a high point, and then release at the end. We can use the same down-up motion to create that shape. We go down through the first note, we slightly release, and then we grow to a high point, and then finally lighten off towards the end. So here's a simpler example of the down-up motion in the Chopin. And we've got it in this triplet bars where we go down through the first note, and then we're going to release through the rest of the notes. So we go down through the first note, the strong B, and then we lighten off gradually as you come up and off through the rest of the notes in the phrase. So that last note naturally becomes the lightest. Sometimes though, the movement develops before it releases, but the principle is always the same. We want to go down and through, providing weight and direction on the first note, and then releasing at the end of the shape. Grouping isn't just about playing more naturally or shaping your music, but it's also the foundation of playing faster. In the next video, I'll show you how this same idea can allow you to play faster with slightly less effort as well. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you there.